So you've watched a lot of videos, whether it be on my channel or someone else's channel. And by the way, if you're looking for other channels, I once did about a year ago a video asking each one of the subscribers and viewers to name or direct others to channels that have helped them. So go ahead and find that. But if you're watching our channels, it's important to remember that this is good for validation. This is good for identification. This is good for the aha moments. This is what happened to me, and that's how I started and why I started this channel. But it's not going to get you to the core of what's really going on with me and how do I sincerely recover from this. That's a really hard question to answer, and it's an internal problem that we have within ourselves that we've got to work through. And I mean, it's terrific hard work. Sure, the channels or a life coach can get you to the point of validation, as I said before, and making yourself feel a little bit better that you're not alone, because you are not alone. But there's going to come a time that after you've established that you are in fact dealing with a malignant narcissist, that you're going to have to repair. You're going to have to look back, see what was done upon you, and try to distance yourself from that through therapy. And while therapy doesn't work for everyone, it works for a lot of people. And the other thing I'll mention is not a lot of people can afford therapy. Therapy is incredibly expensive. There's a lot of people that don't have the insurance for it. There's a lot of people that don't have the co-pays for it. So let's talk a little bit about finding a therapist and what happens if you can't afford a therapist. Because I really fall into both of those camps. So here's it. When you're looking for a therapist or a local therapist, you're going to find such sites as Psychology Today, where they list all different types of therapies and their specialties. And what you're going to see, or at least what I saw, was the checkbox for narcissism was always clicked off, or they always would tout as part of their repertoire, narcissism. And the fact of the matter is, and a lot of you are going to identify with this, is that most of the therapists don't have any idea what narcissism or malignant narcissism truly is. They may have gone through a page or 2 page, perhaps even a chapter, while going through their education of psychology. But if they've not lived it, if they've not had multiple patients that have lived through this and are looking for help in getting better and restoring their reality and helping with their PTSD, they're not going to really get it. So, here's one quick way of understanding that they get narcissism. And by this point, you should have a pretty good idea of what narcissism or malignant narcissism really is. You call them up, and you are going to schedule a preliminary appointment. But you're going to ask them, I see that you've checked, or I see that you know about narcissism. Or, do you know about narcissism? And 9 out of 10 times, perhaps even more, they're going to say, yes, of course. And it's right then and there, before you even go to the office, ask them, please tell me, what's your definition of narcissistic abuse? Or what's your definition of malignant narcissism? and listen to what they say. First rule, if they say self-love, say, you know what? You're not my therapist, not the one I'm looking for. Thank you for your time. And get out of there. But listen to their explanation of what narcissistic personality disorder is. And you're going to be able to tell. If you've watched videos on the internet, if you study it up, they're pretty much, most of them, pretty much on target. Because it's survivors of narcissistic personality disorder. We've gone through it, so we're just sharing what we've gone through. So if you've identified that with that, you've got a pretty good idea of what they have. Listen to the therapist's answer. And I'm willing to bet that you, again, 9 out of 10 times, you're going to get a bullshit answer. So right away, you should know, if you get that bullshit answer, that is not going to be the therapist for you. Now, I'd like you to comment here and see if you've gone through that same experience. The other thing is, what happens if you can't afford a therapist? Well, there are two things that you can do. Is if you do find, via the phone call, of someone who claims to know narcissism, ask them if they work on a sliding scale. And if you don't have insurance, you'll understand that their common 45-minute appointment is $125 US, but maybe because you don't have insurance, they'll slide it down to $65 or $50 or whatever. See if they'll work with you. Again, that's only if they really truly understand narcissism based on your understanding. The other thing is any county or any town or any province that you live in, there should be something called behavioral health. So I looked up my county behavioral health, and I literally found my psychologist right through there. And they turned out to be pretty damn good. I moved on since that with somebody who really understood narcissism and was really willing to work with me, and I mean beyond imagine. My therapist is just amazing. So there's an answer. If you can't afford it, see if the therapist will work with you on a sliding scale. And if not, see if there is a local behavioral health center around you. Now, I know that the UK has received just untold cuts in their behavioral health system. That is the mental health system. I could tell you in the US that the behavioral health or the mental health initiatives or organizations are being sliced and diced to pieces. Unfortunately, we're going to see a lot more really public acts of violence because of that, because people are not able to get the health care that they need. And let me put a caveat on that. 95% of the people with mental health issues are peaceful people. They are not violent. But the healthcare system, I can only assume globally. I don't know of any countries that embrace mental health care. The healthcare system is being shredded, so you might have some difficulty finding that. So again, when you call the therapist, I'd like you to think about asking them what is their definition or what is their understanding of narcissistic personality disorder and its abuses onto its victim, and listen. And you're going to know right away where they're full of the poo-poo or they know what they're talking about. If they don't answer and they say, well, let's make an appointment, come in and we'll talk about it, that's a red flag right there. Because if they can't summarize narcissistic personality disorder within 2 minutes, they don't know anything about narcissistic personality disorder. Or they want to get you in to collect the fee, and then you're going to realize, boy, that guy just doesn't understand squat, and I just threw away $125. So those are some tips to help you if you're in need. Otherwise, in the communities of YouTube channels such as this, a great way of validation and communicating is between yourselves, as is often done and often I viewed as very helpful for other people, specifically or especially when they're still just coming into the throes of realizing what happened. So I hope that helps. I hope you have the peace and knowledge that you can get the help to work within yourself to repair the damage that has been done, because a lot of us don't realize, and I speak from experience, that there was a tremendous amount of damage done to us that I just didn't really recognize. And therapy helped me a great deal. What else helped me a great deal is each one of you. Thank you. And I'm wishing you peace as always.